3 alleged online child sexual predators were arrested in Gauteng. The suspects include 2 South Africans and a British national. They were arrested following months of investigations into allegations of child pornography involving 3 children. We're now joined by Brigadier Athlenda Mathe, who speaks for the South African Police Services. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time this afternoon. What led to this, or what are the circumstances that led to these arrests?
Well, a very good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity. In 2017, the SAPS established what we call Serial and Electronic Investigations Unit to trace and apprehend serial rapists, but also to focus on tracing sexual offenders that are involved in the possession, the distribution of child pornography. So the SAPS has units across the country where we are involved in such investigations. Through these teams' particular work and focus, we are connected to international tip-off lines that are on a daily basis alerting our members to sexual offenders that are involved in sharing and distributing child pornography on the internet. Just last year alone, we were alerted to 130,000 users in South Africa that are Googling child pornography. So we are working with international law enforcement agencies in our operation. So in this particular operation, we teamed up with the USA Department of Homeland and Security, where we identified a ring of online sexual predators that are targeting young children. In South Africa, we identified 27 of them. The first 3 have already been arrested. The first was a British citizen that was found to be in the country illegally. During a forensic analysis investigation at the property where he was found, our investigators found him in possession of child pornography, where he was performing sexual acts on young children between the ages of 12 years old. But over and above this, we also found footage on his devices of him performing sexual acts on a dog. And thereafter, he was then charged with bestiality over and above the charges he is facing. He then led us to his friend in Benoni, where police also found on his device hundreds of photographs and videos of child pornography and so on. And the third suspect was arrested in Krugersdorp. He too was found with a similar material. I can confirm to you that on Thursday morning, we've got a similar operation in Umbilo in KZN, where we have identified another online sexual predator that is targeting children to that area of the country, and I can confirm to you that tomorrow is the takedown operation.
This, as Gerard Ackerman's case has just been concluded, it would appear that this is so widespread, and so with these particular individuals, have they managed to, or have the police managed to question them? Have they led you to more suspects who are involved in this ring?
Absolutely. Like I've indicated, we have identified 27 in the country. We have arrested the first 3. The fourth one, a takedown operation, is on Thursday morning. We have interviewed these suspects. Some of them who have already given us confessions and so on, but I can't go into detail because these are cases that are currently before court. They have appeared in various courts on Monday. Their cases were postponed for further investigation as well as bail applications. But I can tell you, Dudu, that we have had a lot of successes in terms of convicting accused that were involved in acts of child pornography. In October, we also saw the sentencing of Mario Gisto in the Free State, where he was sentenced to more than 6,500 years of imprisonment. He was found to be involved in acts of pornography, where he also raped his victims. He would ensure that children are present while he was performing acts of self-masturbation and so on. We also saw in the Free State a 60-year-old elderly man that was also sentenced to 15 years direct imprisonment for his role in sexually grooming young kids. And I think at this point, it's quite important that as the SAPS, we really advise and encourage parents to monitor their children's devices and so on. They must really monitor what type of chat groups their children are involved in. And from our side, we are advising that they install parental control softwares so they can block such content, like child pornography and predators such as these ones, inviting them to chat groups where they can be sexually groomed and sexually abused.
Absolutely. Maybe let's just give parents advice, and we can expand on that, because is human trafficking involved here, and how does it work? Is it through these chat groups where they prey on these young children, and how do they lure them to get to spaces where they then abuse them?
So what we have found is that the suspects that are involved in this child sexual exploitation, if I can call it, they are like-minded people. So they trace each other, they find each other and invite each other to chat groups where they share these pictures. They distribute them amongst themselves of children in, performing sexual acts and so on. So, but what we have also noticed is that these type of perpetrators, they target children from broken families. They would act as a father figure, an uncle figure to these children. They would start off by luring them, by buying them things, winning their trust, and so on. So it would start off by the uncle, touching them, the so-called uncle rather, touching them on their legs. And then it moves on to their shoulders. But then it also then progresses to sexual acts and so on. And by that time, the child is then scared to speak up about it. Remember, during these type of acts, we often find that these predators will warn children not to tell anyone, that it is a secret. And because they are targeting children that are below 12 years of age, some of them do not know how to differentiate what is right and what is wrong. So the children are often not aware that what this uncle or this father figure is doing is wrong. And that is why we are encouraging parents to really be extra vigilant when it comes to their children. One of the signs that we have picked up on is that children that are affected by these sexual acts or utilized in these acts often become withdrawn. They become problem children. They become aggressive and very angry. So we want to warn parents to really look out for these signs. In the academic field, at school, we see that their marks drop drastically. So these are some of the warning signs that parents can actually look out for. But the most important advice that we can give to the parents is really to monitor their children's devices on a daily basis so we can avoid children from becoming victims. The 3 children that we have witnessed or we've seen in the photographs and the videos that we have analyzed as the police, we have identified them. We are on a tracing operation so that we are able to trace them and their parents. We have identified which area of Johannesburg they may be in. So our members are on the ground and they are there to ensure that we protect our future leaders from these type of acts.
Absolutely. This British national that's also involved in bestiality, will you be able to prosecute him in South Africa? What happens? Will he seek extradition? Will he get away? How do we hold such people accountable in this country?
So, firstly, how it works is that if you have committed a crime in this country, you must be tried in this country, and you must answer to the charges that are before you. So we are not there at the extradition phase as yet. We do not know if he has been involved in other acts out of the country. If it is found that he was involved in sexual acts that are involving children in other countries, we will liaise with such countries, obviously, to get that information, and to liaise with the Department of Homeland Security of the USA to discuss whether or not we will extradite him. But for now, the crimes that he is facing, he has committed in South Africa, and we do believe that he does have a case to answer to in the country.
Okay. Brigadier Mathe, do we still have a child protection unit in South Africa?
Absolutely, but it is now called the Family Violence, Child Protection and Sexual Offences Unit, which is where our serial and electronic investigations unit falls under. So it is now called the FCS unit. We do have it, and we are monitoring these cases on a daily basis.
Okay. I think it is fair to say thank you to the men and women in blue who are doing their very best to protect South Africa's young ones. Thank you very much for availing yourself this afternoon, Brigadier. Athlenda Mathe speaks for the South African Police Services.